So this is why I transferred from Pepperdine to TMU. Straight out of high school, I went to OCC for a year, community college, and then got recruited to play at Pepperdine months later. So I was at Pepperdine in 2019, 2020, and then COVID hit. So we all got sent home. Pepperdine was pretty expensive, and although I was getting like a 25% scholarship, I think it maybe a little bit more, it was still really expensive. And then especially during COVID, we were just doing online school and I'm at home and it was just kind of a joke. And I was just so busy over here doing like volleyball things, ministry things that I just wasn't focused on school. It just seemed like a waste of time. Um, so a lot of people think that I left Pepperdine for like religious reasons, like kind of maybe you could say that. But I actually became a Christian before I went to Pepperdine. That's why I went to Pepperdine because it was supposed to be a Christian school. I dropped out of Pepperdine not intending to actually go back to school ever. With what I wanted to do with my life, um, I just didn't think school was important. Um, so I dropped out, started coaching, did that for like a year. And then the master's coach messaged me on Instagram. He DM'd me. I wasn't actually sure what he was asking me. It sounded like he was asking me to come speak at his school. So I was like, oh, like interesting. I guess he wants like a D1 volleyball player, Christian, to come speak at his school. I'd never heard of it. So then he's like, hey, let's get on a phone call. So I get on a phone call and I realize he's trying to recruit me. So he asks, would you be interested in going back to school? And I said, no, I'm done with school. And he goes, well, why don't you just come on a visit and see what the Lord wants for you? And I'm like, okay, fine. I'll go on a visit. So I went on a visit, and there were so many things that like had to happen for me to go there because I really didn't want to. But it just all lined up so perfectly. So the reason why I went to masters, well, two reasons mainly. Three reasons. I'll tell you the third later. First was it's a Christian school that actually cares about the Bible and like cares about Christianity. Pepperdine, not so much. Number two is they gave me a full scholarship, or at least full tuition scholarship, so I didn't have to pay for it. So I was like, okay, I should take this. And the third reason, if you guys know who John MacArthur is, he this is not really a big reason, but he's a really famous pastor. I got a meeting with him, and he was like, "Hey, like, who knows? You might find your wife here." And it was just a funny thing. So those are my three reasons why I went to TMU and I transferred there. And it's been awesome. The level's not as high. It's NAIA volleyball, but it's higher level than I thought it was going to be. And I get a hit and play outside. Before I was playing libero, which is not so fun. An outside hitter is a lot of fun. And now Patrick Paragas, my setter from club and high school, is on our team. That's an amazing story too. So overall, leaving Pepperdine was one of the best decisions I've ever made. Also, the hardest decision I've ever had to make. When I was leaving Pepperdine, it was during COVID, so I'm over here, not really doing my classes, thinking about leaving, thinking about transferring. Um, and some of the guys were going back up to school because this is like half a year later. But I wasn't, and my coach was like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, hey, I'm thinking about not coming back. He's like, okay, well, let me know. And I was just pushing it off. And then he just kind of one day was like, you have to make a decision now. And I said, I can't do it. And that was super relieving. Just all that pressure was just off. Yeah, it was scary. Obviously, not knowing, like, okay, what am I going to do with my life? I mean, I had some ideas, but it's different when you, like, actually jump into it. But it was still, to this day, one of the best decisions I've ever made because I wouldn't have ended up at TMU. And I'm very, very happy I'm there right now for many reasons. team. The culture is awesome. Coach is great. Um, Overall, I recommend if you want to play volleyball, if you're a Christian and you really want to play volleyball, this would be the place to go if I was going to go anywhere. But if volleyball is your life and you're trying to like play in the Olympics, maybe not. If you have any questions, let me know.